Published by the LA Times, written by Judy Perez in 2007. It explains how people, especially women who have been diagnosed with breast cancer, are most likely to be diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia later on in their life. None of us ever want to hear, oh, one of your family members has cancer, or even yourself. But AML, which is short for acute myeloid leukemia, is most common within adults, and even though it's really common, it has a really low survival rate. My grandma at the time is battling acute myeloid leukemia, and 10 years ago she was diagnosed with breast cancer, which is pretty shocking because acute myeloid leukemia was led because of the treatment she got for her breast cancer. So an AML weakens your entire immune system, which if it's not detected on time, it can become fatal. Today I'm going to talk about what acute myeloid leukemia is, the symptoms, the effects, and the treatments that a patient undergoes. So acute myeloid leukemia can quickly shut down your immune system, and your immune system is what fights off all the infections and what keeps you healthy. So in the U.S. National Library of Medicine published an article on June 5th, 2012, and it explains that this cancer starts out in the bone marrow, and bone marrow, as we know, is the soft tissue found inside our bones. And this tissue produces all the red blood cells and our white blood cells that run throughout our entire body. And when this type of leukemia is found in your bone marrow, it starts growing within your cells, and it grows really rapidly and goes through your body really quickly, so your immune system is completely thrown off. And most of us have heard of leukemia, but acute myeloid kind of makes it sound fancy, but it's way worse than just a regular leukemia, because acute myeloid it stands for it growing so much more quickly and spreads so much more faster throughout your body. If you don't detect it within the first 3 months, you will probably die. And so this type of cancer starts up in your bone marrows, and it just gets to your blood vessels as soon as possible, and it can spread into your central nervous system and into your liver. Our body knows how to protect itself, but sometimes it needs a little extra help from us to help it out and get the treatment it needs. Acute myeloid leukemia consists of symptoms that sometimes we mistake as a common cold, just not being our day, or we're just tired. But in the AML overview by the American Cancer Society, it explains how some most common symptoms of it can be just loss of appetite, tired, and just a very high fever. The number one symptom of this type of cancer is nosebleeds, gum bleeding, and for women, heavy menstrual periods. And for those people who have not yet detected it and have more high count of these blood cells within their body, have joint pains, and occasionally it's heavy bruising, which is not your occasional I got hip bruise. It's this nasty, huge, almost all your arm bruising. For some effects it can have on your body is one, most importantly, being your immune system. It throws it off really quickly, which makes you prone to infections. Just a small cold can easily kill you because your immune system is completely down. Some risk factors for this can be simply being exposed to benzene, which is a solvent used in like a lot of cleaning products. You can find it in dyes and gasoline in your household products. Now I'm going to talk to you about the treatments that they undergo. According to marrow.org, it gives two kinds of treatments, which is chemotherapy and a bone marrow transplant. Chemotherapy is the first treatment they give to a patient because it's quick and it can get rid of it sooner than a bone marrow transplant and the whole process you have to go through. And chemotherapy is given to you through your IV, and it's full of just really like heavy drugs that it completely shut down your immune system, get rid of all your white blood cells, and it takes about a week to get this through your entire body, and it takes about five weeks to your body for your body to fully recover from this. And a bone marrow transplant is like the second, which is your last option, because if chemotherapy didn't work for you, now if this bone marrow doesn't work for you, it's just a sign that you might have no hope in being treated for this type of cancer. So in conclusion, AML completely cuts down your immune system, and it can spread really quickly, and it's just a cancer that's not a long term, it's more just 3 months and that's it. And this is my grandma, and she's right now being treated with it. She's gone under chemotherapy, and if I would have heard about this before or even looked this up or heard a speech on it, I could have easily kind of diagnosed it for her.